Tyler Shough says the Saints tailoring offense to him. This is via Todd McShay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is via New Orleans.football, which is the backdrop to today's video. Let's go ahead and watch, shall we?
Todd McShay, we mentioned him last time, was at the Manning Passing Academy, and out there also was Tyler Shough. And McShay, on his most recent podcast, or maybe 2 episodes ago, recapped the experience, and he was talking about a conversation he had with Shough just about how he's relating with Kellen Moore and how they're designing the offense and all that stuff. And he mentioned, and this stuck out to me, made my ears perk up a little bit. He said that Shough told him that him and Moore have been sitting down and watching Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and they've been tailoring the offense to Shough. And he feels like they're at the beginning of something, building something together. And I don't know if that's just...
All right, so this is one of those things where it's very important how it was said, what was said, the conversation, the context, if you will. Because on one hand, yeah, right? Like, of course, every offense is tailored to the players in the offense, especially the quarterback. You know, like, you're always, like, the Eagles' offense is tailor-made for Jalen Hurts. You know, Daniel Jones, if he's the starting quarterback for the Colts, that offense they run is going to be tailored to him versus Anthony Richardson and vice versa. Shout out Pastor Troy. All right, so if you look at it from that point of view, it's like, well, yeah, of course. And if Spencer Rattler is in, the offense is going to be tailored to him, right? Like, okay. But that is different than if he said they are tailoring the offense, they are building the offense, they are creating the offense around me. Because that's a very different conversation. Because if that's the case, then if they are creating this offense and building this offense and starting this offense with Tyler Shough in mind, then all of a sudden it's like, well, is it a quarterback competition at all? Right? So there's some semantics in here. We won't know the answers to that. We weren't in the room. But I would be very interested to hear what the actual phrasing was when it was said.
We're playing a game of telephone here, like one guy talking to one guy talking to another guy, but it kind of made my ears perk up to hear him mention that Shough said that they're tailoring the offense to him.
I mean, we obviously need to ask Spencer Rattler if he's having the same conversations with Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
And my bet is that he is. I mean, what do you like? What should we put in the offense? And I mean, you should probably do that with your top 2 quarterbacks no matter what. Like, when you have Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, and Jameis Winston gets hurt in the second game of the season, you should be prepared to have plays Andy Dalton likes in the third game too. So, yeah, I think it's good, and it lets you know their vision for Tyler Shough. But I also think it'd probably be irresponsible not to. What do you like? What suits you?
Well, I mean, look,
you know, and
yeah, I mean, it depends on how you define this. You know, if you define it as just kind of what makes you comfortable in the offense, what do you like, what do you not like, what do you prefer to do? Oh, you want to roll left? Okay. Oh, you want to roll right? Okay. Hey, you know, whatever, like that. Yeah, that's totally fine. And if I'm sure Spencer Rattler is having these conversations as well. You know, like the picture that's being painted or the picture that can be painted if you hear this is that, you know, Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough and Nussmeier and everybody are just in a room together and they're building this offense around Tyler, and, you know, Spencer's outside like tapping on the windows like, hey guys, can I come in there? Hey fellas, come on. I want to throw the ball. You know, like, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's the case, right? Like, it's probably less of that and more of just making sure that Tyler is comfortable when he's in there and the offense suits him and what they're asking him to do is fine.
Not to just tell somebody, I know you've never done this before, but this is what you have to do in my offense. But it is interesting if Shough is having more of those conversations and more of the offense is tailored around him. That would be a fascinating tell.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You know, like, yes, if they are building out, and that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the video, is that if they are building this out with Shough in mind, then yeah, that's a huge indicator of what's happening here. And, you know, I mean, like, I think all right, I'm going to say a bunch of stuff here. And if you're a Rattler fan, or if you're a Shough fan, you can take it in very different directions. I truly do believe this will be a 50-50 quarterback battle, assuming they are both at training camp. If Tyler Shough's not at training camp, if he's holding out, then this is all kind of a moot point. But I believe it's going to be a 50-50 quarterback battle. I really do. I think the best player will win. With that being said, Tyler Shough is obviously this staff's guy because they drafted him. They just took him 40th overall. They obviously like his game. They obviously have something in mind when they drafted him. You don't draft a quarterback 40th overall. The earliest this team has drafted a quarterback since Archie Manning. You don't do all that if you don't have something in mind for him. If you don't understand how he's going to be playing in the offense. If you don't understand how the offense will look with him under center, right? Plans change sometimes. And sometimes, as Illidan Stormrage says, the hands of fate must be forced, right? Sometimes, if a quarterback is good enough, like Brock Purdy, then all the investment in the world, all the draft capital, all the hype, draft spot, throw that out the window, right? It didn't matter how much draft capital they poured into Trey Lance. It didn't matter he was a top 3 pick. It didn't matter that he had all this hype behind him. Brock Purdy was too good. And so they shipped his ass out of there. Right? So all of this, and we're a couple weeks away at this point, but all of this will come to a head. All of this will eventually, we'll get down to brass tacks, and we'll get down to these guys slinging it, and the front office may have a few more chips over on the Tyler Shough side of things, but if Rattler is obviously the hot hand, if Rattler is running this better and the offense is better and smoother and things are working his way, they'll go his way, right? So a lot of this is just kind of speculation. Well, I guess all of it is speculation. And at a certain point, the speculation meets that football field. And just like Brock Purdy proved to everybody, or even how Tom Brady proved to the Patriots, sometimes there's no choice to be made.
Well, I mean, don't we have the fascinating tell already?
With the draft choice?
I mean, he picked, that's Kellen Moore's hand-picked quarterback.
Yeah.
And like, I understand there's always, every time we'll be like, oh, Tyler Shough, and then the Rattler people will be like, oh, man, and then you say something about Rattler, and like, he's not going to be the starter. Like, the fact of the matter is, though,
I was just playing 2K. This is a completely, I was just playing 2K last weekend with the boys, and I drafted Jamal Murray with my second round pick. Then I drafted Ben Simmons with like my 10th round pick. Okay. Played a few games. Ben Simmons was way better than Jamal Murray. He was bigger. He had better defense. He drove to the basket better. He just fit what my team was trying to do better. After a few games, I had to bench Jamal Murray. It didn't matter that I took him in the second round. It didn't matter that he was an 87 overall and Ben Simmons was a 77 or whatever it was. It just worked better on the court. And at some point, those results you cannot ignore.
And I've said this a million times, that it doesn't guarantee him the job, and it doesn't mean that he's going to win the battle.
You do have to give him every chance.
It doesn't mean he's starting week 1, but it means that as of today, he is the quarterback that Kellen Moore went out and said, I want this guy. He had the other guy on the roster already, and he said, this is my guy right here. And he went out and got him. Doesn't mean he's going to be good. Doesn't mean Rattler can't beat him out. But I think it's very much is we're setting up this battle. Tyler Shough is Apollo Creed and Spencer Rattler is Rocky Balboa. Like, one guy is ranked, and if Rocky's going to be Rocky, he needs to figure out how to battle, and still in the end, Apollo won the first fight. So, I mean, it just kind of is what it is. One guy.
But that's exactly what I'm saying is that, no doubt about it. Apollo's the polished champion. He's who everyone wants to win. He's who the boxing federation is behind. Like, he's the guy. And if it's close, if it's a judge's decision, it's probably going to go to Apollo. But at some point, they get in the ring. At some point, the bell dings. At some point, the rounds begin. And if Rocky knocks him out or if Rocky beats him, he's the world champion. And that's it. And that's where we are. Like, it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out that the front office and the organization see something in Tyler Shough, and they believe in Tyler Shough, and they drafted him for a reason. But you do have this rapscallion, Spencer Rattler, this plucky underdog from Philadelphia, if you will, who's ready to roll.
As the underdog, though, and it's just the way it is. It's just the fact of the matter. Again, doesn't guarantee him anything. There's a 40th pick on this roster right now who doesn't play at all. It didn't guarantee Isaiah Foskey playing time. But as you come into it, as you're setting odds, oh wow, this guy, the coach wanted him. That's the guy. So
there's nothing wrong with that. And it would be, using the same word twice, irresponsible not to take that investment. And here's the funny thing about Tyler Shough. He very easily could have been drafted where Jackson Dart was drafted. The Giants traded up from right about the Saints spot to 22 or 23 to take Jackson Dart to make sure they got him. If the Saints had not shown patience and they had traded up to 28 and taken Tyler Shough in the first round, like those 12 picks would make all the difference in how everyone looks at it. But he's basically the equivalent of a late first round pick. I mean, this is a real investment they made in him. They do have to give him every chance to succeed. I mean, and that's not a slight to Spencer Rattler, but try to make this work, because this is the highest investment they've made in a quarterback since Archie Manning. Like, they want to try to make it work.
Yeah. And to your point, I do think that they're probably having the same conversation with both guys. You have to kind of get the menu together. You start to piece it together. If this guy wins, you have both contingencies. I think it is an open-minded battle, obviously. Yeah. Push come to shove, I think it's Shough wins the coin toss. He's the house right now.
Yeah, if it goes to the judge's decision, then, Tyler Shough's going to win, which I've said for weeks. What I think makes the most sense and is the safest thing for the Saints to do, and if I was a betting man, this is what I think is going to happen, is I think Rattler is going to get the start. Unless Tyler Shough blows him out of the water in training camp and preseason, unless it's not even close. But if it's close, I would start Rattler. That's the safest thing you can do. Start Rattler, let Shough develop, let Shough be hungry, let him have that chip on his shoulder where he has to fight and scratch and claw and face some adversity, whatever, and see if he can get there and see if he can overtake Spencer Rattler. Worst case scenario is Rattler's really good, and you just play him, and that's not that bad of a situation, right? Like, it that way you exhaust both options, I think, where you exhaust the Spencer Rattler option. You give him the opportunity. You give him the chance to get out there and see what he can do. I had a commenter mention this, and it absolutely is true and very astute to bring this up. Arguably the hardest stretch of the season is the first 6 games, or the first quadrant of games. The trip to Seattle, the trip across the country to Buffalo, the Niners, the Cardinals, the start, all that. It's tough. We play the Rams early. Like a lot of the tough stuff is early on. Schedule gets much easier towards the back half. So it might even behoove the team to say, you know what? Even more of a reason to play Rattler. Really hard to start. If he can get through that, then damn, we got something here with Rattler. If he struggles through that, it gives us an extra month. It gives us an extra 6 weeks, whatever, to get Shough ready, to kind of get him ready just to see how the NFL is, to get him used to a game day, get him used to the whole thing. We'll turn it over to him at the 6-week, 8-week, 10-week mark. Let him play out the rest of the season, some easier games. The entire team will be a little bit more in rhythm and a little bit more fluid because, everything's new. Coaching staff, everything is new. System, culture, identity, all that stuff. And then you rock and roll. To me, that seems like the safest bet for both players. It gives Spencer Rattler a chance. It gives Tyler Shough a chance. Saves you a little bit more time. You don't have to. You're not rushed to make a decision. You just go with the guy who played last year. That's what I would do.
Because of where you picked him and how they view him and everything. But yeah, it is interesting though, just to kind of hear that. Yeah. We'll see if it means anything. You got to win it on the field.
I'm still. This isn't the segment, but it could be the lead to a segment because we've had the conversation 5 times and we're going to have it 5 more times. Just yesterday, I was at an event and somebody asked me, so who's going to be the starting quarterback? And I'm like, well, I mean, I think, it took me a long time to answer the question. I'm like, I think Shough will start more games, but we've said it a million times. Like, if you're viewing Shough as his own entity, if you had a Jacoby Brissett or an Andy Dalton, those first 4 games are a bear. Like, if you start Tyler Shough and he struggles, you don't want to ever bench Tyler Shough. Like, I still wonder if there's a path to Spencer Rattler starts first and Tyler Shough starts when he's ready.
Sure.
I think that makes the most sense. I mean, I know I just outlined that, but then you factor in this whole training camp holdout thing, where if Tyler Shough misses a week or 2 weeks, is even more of a reason to do that. The hardest thing for me to like find the path to is Tyler Shough starts week 1. Because the only way you do that, barring injuries, the only way you do that is if Rattler is either so much worse or Shough is so much better, however you want to frame it. That's the only way you do that. Where it's not a question, okay, this guy took a huge jump, whatever, he's starting week 1. Every other scenario possible leads to Spencer Rattler starting week 1, in my opinion.
Or when the schedule sets up for, hey, he's seen 4 games now. He's warmed up 4 times. He's been ready to go 4 times. And now we're coming home to play the Giants and the Patriots in weeks 5 and 6. Like, I wonder how decision-making is affected for what is good for Tyler Shough long-term and not necessarily who earned it. Obviously, if Shough blows Rattler out of the water, but like there's so many layers to this. It's really
it is complex.
Yeah, look, the other thing though that I would say about Shough is that I think that path exists. Obviously, I think very much so. I also think they drafted him with the idea that they were getting a guy into the building that I don't know what they knew about Derek Carr at the time or whatever, but like I feel like he was coming into the building as someone like, well, we can get him here, and if things go sideways, he can start early in the season. I think his age, and granted, he doesn't have the experience on the field so much as his college doctorate length would suggest, but like I think his age and maturity maybe sets him up to deal with some of those hardships early in the season, maybe more so than it would a 21-year-old hotshot who's never faced adversity. Like Tyler Shough's story is adversity. And I'm reminded of Kellen Moore's original comments after the draft. What did you like about this guy? Well, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think part of that plays into it. But I do think that, there's definitely a path where Rattler starts first and, hey, eat these games up. You go in after this when things lighten up a little bit, sets you up a little bit more, protect your mentals, all that stuff. I also think Tyler Shough's going to let you know whether he's ready or not in camp. And that's
true. And even during the season, like we keep saying, like, oh yeah, play Rattler 4 games. If he's bad, then play Shough. You might get to that spot, and they may look around like Shough's not ready. He's not ready. Like we're throwing these arbitrary numbers out there, but it doesn't have to be clean like that. Like it doesn't have to be a perfectly set thing where Shough's for sure ready after week 4 or for sure ready after week 6. Like, we don't know. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces here. There really is. A lot of stuff's happening.
It's going to be decided, but I don't think it's outlandish to have that as a strategy even in your back pocket. Oh man, the Bills, like we aren't sending him into that. Like, let the other guy do it, and then he can come in.
Teams
after
do that all the time. They
Yeah.
just don't usually do it when a first-year guy is going up against a second-year guy who's a year younger than him.
So, all right, here's going back to the last show. B, you got your mic on. So, all right, week 4, Seattle, right? That's the Seattle game, week 4?
No, that's the
week
Buffalo
4 is
game.
Buffalo. Week 3 is Seattle.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm walking it back. I had those flipped. I had those
All right.
transposed. I was gonna say that would be the most fire thing in the world. Week 4, if it was week 4, but you can't do it now. So like week 4, Seattle, Tyler Shough, white jersey, color rush, all debuts at the same time. That would be the way to do it.
Why would it have to be week 4?
But,
Why can't it be week 3?
I thought Seattle.
you thought the Buffalo game would be in the rearview mirror.
Yeah. So like I was thinking they played Buffalo, played Seattle. B, shut your mic off. I'm an idiot. Screw up the schedule.
So you the Buffalo.
That'd be the way to do it.
They should let Hainer start the Buffalo game. Sorry,
man.
Jake. No,
Jeez, Hainer took a shot there.
I'm just kidding.
JK.
Man, that's gonna be a tough week 4 assignment for whoever it is.
It is. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I can see it that way for sure. I definitely think there's a way that could happen.
I'll tell you this. So, I mean, we're kind of laying it out there, but if Tyler Shough doesn't start the season, there is no way you play him anywhere near that Seattle-Buffalo stretch. Yeah, I mean, you play him here. You play him right here, New York. You're good. Well, I say that New York's got a really good. I say that New York's got a solid defensive line, though. I don't know if you feed him to the Giants' defensive line because you want to protect him if you're going to bring him in. I mean, it's kind of tough. Like, our schedule's kind of interesting because you don't play him anywhere near those first 4 games if he's not starting. So then it's like, all right, do you play him at home against the Giants? You probably do, because where else are you going to do? You don't want to play him like on the road against the Patriots or the Bears, or feed him to the Bucks. But then again, like, you don't want to play him against the Rams. You don't want to wait to play him against Carolina on the road. Maybe you let him go into the bye week, but that seems a little late. So the Giants is probably the best spot. If you do it the way we're talking, where you play Rattler, it doesn't work out, whatever, you go to Shough. When do you go to Shough? So obviously a chance that Rattler could surprise people, and he could start and play and keep playing and never let it up. But it's interesting. I mean, it's a very interesting situation. But if I had to guess, Kellen Moore is having the tailoring the offense conversation with both quarterbacks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.